Okay everyone, it's Voodoo51292, and today we are making a special midweek update video for Wednesday, August 31st, 2011. And the main reason I'm making this video is because as of yesterday, I've actually hit 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel, which is pretty surprising considering I had 57 on Saturday. And I know a lot of these new subscribers are found me through the video that DSP favorited on his channel, so I got a nice spike in subs. I think right now I actually have 101. So I'm making this video basically as a celebratory video, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to recap and re-go over with everyone what my channel is, what the channel's about, what you're going to see on it, what you can see on the channel right now, and what you can expect to see on the channel in the future, so that all the new people who have flooded in over the past few days get a good understanding and a nice updated view of what the channel really is. So this is the Voodoo51292 gaming channel. My real name is Josh, by the way, in case you didn't know. And if you've taken a look around the channel so far, then you'll know what my channel is pretty much about. It's a channel heavily influenced by Dark Side Phil, and I basically do the same sort of filming style that he does, where I basically, if you don't know what that is, I basically set my movie camera, which I was actually asked what kind of camera I use. It's a normal Sony Handycam from I think it's like 2 or 3 years ago, and I just set it up on the tripod. I film the screen while I'm playing and provide live commentary, which basically means that my voice is the commentary is happening simultaneous with the gameplay, meaning I don't use a capture card and go back later and dub over what I've recorded with a microphone or anything like that. I'm actually commentating on my experience as it's happening live with the game. Basically I do playthroughs of the campaigns of a bunch of games. If they have online multiplayer, I try that out if I can, and I'll explain in a few minutes why sometimes I can. And after I'm done with them, I do game reviews on them. And I try to hit all of the, not all of, but a lot of the major big time releases of the year. Now there's a lot of them that I actually miss, but and I'll give you a couple reasons why I don't get to all of the games. The main reason I don't get to all of the games is because of time. I am a full-time college student majoring in biology, so the coursework that I have is pretty demanding, and I just started up my third semester here at school this week, and it is easily already the hardest semester I've had and is requiring a ton of work. So actually, commenting on that, it's 4:15 in the afternoon right now. I just got back from class and I'm heading out again for basically a tutoring session from 5:30 to 7 on my organic chemistry class. So I won't be back here till 7 o'clock at night, and then I have work to do on top of it. So yeah, it's pretty demanding. So a lot of times, time is just a factor. I can't get to every single game. Also, sometimes there's games that come out that may be big and I just don't have any interest in playing. I know they're big games, but I just, working with the limited time I have, I'm just not that interested in checking some of these games out. I might if I had absolutely nothing to do and I could just play games all day, but I can't. So there's a lot of times where I can't actually get to a major game, but I try to play all the main ones I can, and again, do the campaign of it. Now when it comes to multiplayer, the reason that I sometimes can't play the multiplayer is because of the way I get my games. And the way I do is I buy a very limited number of games a year, because as I said, I'm a college student, I'm completely broke, I don't have a job during school, it's very difficult, and so I basically don't have any money, and so I have to be very careful on what I spend, and so I can't buy that many games. So what I use is the service of GameFly. And if you don't know what GameFly is, basically it's Netflix for games. You can have a plan where you can get 1, 2, 3, I think maybe even 4 games out at a time, but you put in your order for a game. They mail it to you within 2 days. You can keep it as long as you want, and when you're done, you mail it back and you can get a new one. I actually have the 2-game at a time plan right now, where I can have 2 games out at a time. And the reason that sometimes I can't play the multiplayer is because a lot of times right now, with the way major publishers and developers are going, is they're making you activate the multiplayer with an online code, which they're only including in new games, or you can purchase them on either PSN or Xbox Live for the equivalent of about $10. And so there's lots of times that I get games from GameFly that have these online codes, and yes, they have online, but, you know, and I would try them out, but I'm not going to spend an extra $10 to get an online code just to try out the multiplayer. That happened with Homefront earlier this year. There was multiplayer for Homefront, but it wasn't like, you know, a big blockbuster thing, so it wasn't worth $10. Now, in a game that I'm going to be playing later in the year, which is Battlefield 3, I'm probably going to be dropping the $10 because the multiplayer of that game is going to be substantial, and that's going to be something I want to check out. And I know it's going to have a code because it's going to be an EA published game, and they're one of the companies doing this code. So sometimes, like I said, I can't play the multiplayer, but I try. And then, as I talked about, I do game reviews, and what a lot of people don't know is that when my channel started out back in early January, my channel was only game reviews, and it was that way for about a week or two before I decided to put gameplay on it. And there's a few reasons that I do the game reviews and started with the game reviews. One is because I'm of the thinking of a lot of gamers nowadays that the major gaming outlets, the gaming media outlets such as IGN, GameSpot, and those types of companies are not reliable to give you accurate game scores, and that's because they either overinflate scores that, you know, for games that really don't deserve it just because maybe they have a big title on them, or some games that are actually, you know, pretty decent, they really hate on and give it a very low score when it's actually better than what they say. So I'm of the thinking that they're not very reliable. I like to get reviews from actual gamers, and one of the review series I liked a lot was DSP's Hateful Truth review series. I thought they were very good, and they were very honest reviews from an actual gamer who doesn't work for a media outlet. But when I started doing these game reviews in January, DSP was going through this whole thing with Blip TV and YouTube and everything like that, and he had suspended the Hateful Truth series. He wasn't making them anymore. And I said, well, that's really a shame, because that was a great outlet for people to get good opinions, good reviews of games. And I'm of the same thinking, so I'm going to start making game reviews for games that either he hasn't made a Hateful Truth for yet, or, you know, current games that he's not making them now because he suspended them. So that's what I started doing, and they are my own game reviews, though. They're not the exact same as the Hateful Truth. There are things in my reviews that I talk about that DSP doesn't hit on. And granted, there are things that he hits on that I don't, but my reviews are different, so I would recommend, if you do watch his Hateful Truths, watch mine as well, because you're probably going to get some additional information or some things you didn't think about in the game that maybe Phil didn't mention or something like that. And I do scale, I do rate on a 0 to 10 system, but I also can do decimal points anywhere from 0.1 to 0.9. So I can do a 5.8, I can do a 7.3, something like that. And the game reviews, I think, are one of the crowning jewels of my channel. I really enjoy doing them, and I think that I do a pretty good job, or at least I really try to. Now, if you're interested in the game reviews, what I highly recommend you doing is, if you go into the game review playlist, the very first video in that playlist is basically a video where I talk about my grading scale from 0 to 10. Basically what I wound up doing was writing out my grading scale, you know, 0 to 0.9, 1 to 1.9, in categories like that, and wrote descriptions for each category of what I think the game needs to have, or in fact what the game would lack to wind up in those categories. So, you know, let's say from a 4 to a 4.9, I talk about what things are missing from the game, but what things does the game actually include that would, you know, justify rating it in the 4 range, and so forth. And I talk about every range and explain to you exactly what my qualifications are. And I did that for a couple of reasons. One, so that you guys know when I give a game a score, you know exactly what I'm thinking about, what my criteria is for that score. You can put a definition on the score, so to speak. And also I did that so that I figure if I do every game that way and put every game in that scale and judge it by the same descriptions, that all of my games should be ranked and rated in proportion. There's a lot of times where people do game reviews and they don't really have a written set of rules or anything that they compare every game to. They just kind of say the review and think about it and say, you know, what score should I give it, and then they just give a score. And that's fine, that's what I used to do, but then I realized that if you do that, you run a high risk of not keeping games in proportion, because you may forget what you gave other games, or, you may just lose sight of the perspective of the scores. That way, if I have a set rules, then I know everything's going to be in proportion. So I highly recommend you watch that video, first video in the game review playlist, before you really get into my game reviews. So that's the stuff on my channel. One other thing that does appear on my channel is sometimes I do footage that is not related to gaming. Some what I call miscellaneous playlists. One of those would be my trip to Destin, Florida this summer with my friends. I have a playlist of that. I have a playlist called the Dorm Room Survival Guide, which is appropriate this time of year because it's a series basically I made last semester when I was living in a dorm, basically for incoming college freshmen who were going to be living in a dorm and were wondering what it was going to be like, the kind of things you should bring with you, what you can expect. So I made a series of about 4 or 5 videos basically explaining dorm life, what I think that people need to think about bringing to a dorm, some tips on living in a dorm, on getting along well with your roommate and things like that. That series has actually been pretty popular and people have found it helpful. I have actually gone out to my airport near my house, New Orleans International Airport, and done some live plane spotting because aviation is something I'm very interested in. So there's miscellaneous playthroughs like that, or playlists I should say, that should come up. I have a tour of this apartment that I just moved into a couple of weeks ago on there. So there's some miscellaneous things on there. They're definitely worth checking out. Those are all listed down here on the left side of my channel if you're interested in the miscellaneous playlist. So that's basically an overview about what my channel is about. And there's a lot of times where it's not just me playing games. A lot of times, especially now living with 3 of my friends, there's a lot of times where I do co-op gameplay. There's a lot of times when I just have what I call guest commentary. You know, when one of my friends will come in and watch me playing a game and will help me commentate. Probably some games later on in the year we'll be hooking up, at 3 different TVs in the apartment and doing online gameplay together. So there's a lot of variation, and I think it's pretty neat. So that's the kind of stuff you can find right now. Going on in the future, since we're getting on in the major gaming season, what can you expect to see, and what games primarily can you expect to see, and what kind of content will you see? Well, basically the same kind of deal. And I'm going to try to hit most of the major releases coming out for the rest of the year. So let me try to name a few. I know I'm probably going to miss some, but you've got Resistance 3 and Dead Island. You've got Gears of War 3. You've got the last DLC for Fallout New Vegas called Lonesome Road, releasing September 20th. You have Rage. You have, I forgot X-Men Destiny, the last week of September. That's a game I might check out if I have time. You have Rage. You have Battlefield 3. You have Batman Arkham City. You've got Uncharted 3. You've got Modern Warfare 3. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Assassin's Creed Revelations. And there's probably a couple more in there that I forgot to mention. But those are the big ones that I'm going to be playing at the end of this year. So you can expect gameplay from all of those games. And also, when I beat them, I will be doing game reviews of them. So you can know whether or not you want to lay down $65 on it, whether you want to pick it up as a rental, or what you want to do. So, but I will tell you right now that it's going to be challenging. It's going to be a grind for me to try to get these games out. As actually my channel is in one of those situations right now with the game Deus Ex Human Revolution, which was kind of a bad thing that my channel got popular while I'm right in the middle of this kind of challenge, so to speak, with this game. And the reason is because my schedule this semester is really, like I said, jam-packed. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't get back to the room. I'm not done for the night until probably around 6:30. And on Wednesdays, like I said, I have what they call a supplementary instruction session for help with my organic chemistry class, which I have no idea what's going on in. And that lasts from 5:30 to 7 o'clock. So I get back pretty late, and then I have a lot of work to do afterwards. So it may be challenging at times for me to get these playthroughs up extremely fast because of that. And again, there's nothing I can do about it. It's this is a hobby of mine. School obviously takes preference, but I do my best and I try. Right now with Deus Ex, like I said, I'm having a really tough time with it because I'm so swamped right now, second week of school, trying to sift through everything that I just have had very limited time to play it, and it's an extremely long game. So that's just the facts of the situation. But I'm going to do my best, like I said. So that being said, the last thing I want to talk about is how I kind of want, or how I like the relationship to be between myself and my viewers on the channel from now and going forward. I really would like to make this, and I have a great opportunity to be able to do this now with just 100 subscribers, which I say just, it's a big number for me, but in the scheme of things, it's not that many. I have the opportunity to make this a very personal experience at this point, meaning that I highly encourage everyone to actively participate in my channel if you like it. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean on the videos. I would really ask that you rate the videos. It takes 2 seconds, just click the thumbs up button. Of course you can click the thumbs down if you don't like me, but you can click the thumbs up button or whatever and rate the video. That helps a lot, both for myself, for feedback, so I know that people like the video or they don't like the video, and also it helps people find the video when they search for it. Leave comments on the videos. Respectful comments, and of course everything I'm going to be saying, I'm assuming that it's going to be nice and respectful, even if it is a negative comment, meaning you're saying that you don't really like something, you'd prefer if I did something else. As long as it's respectful, then I have no problem with that, and I welcome that, because then I know how to improve what I'm doing. So rate and comment on the videos. I invite you to leave me channel comments. I really appreciate, so far I've gotten a few good channel comments. People have expressed that they really like my videos, which I really appreciate. And also the last thing, I would really appreciate if you guys have any questions at all that you'd like to ask me, whether that's about me personally, about myself, about my life here outside of games, whether that's about my channel, whether it's about video games, whether it's about a specific game I'm playing, you want a tip, or you want my reactions of a game up until the point where I am in the playthrough, you want to ask me anything specific like that, please send me a personal message or on YouTube, and I will be more than happy to answer you. Like I said, I can do that now that I have 100, just about 100 subscribers. I definitely have the time to answer everybody personally, and I hope that you found that over the past couple days when you have left me channel comment or video comments and things like that, I've responded, or I've tried to. So I invite you to be personal with the channel, ask me questions, participate in the channel, and of course, as always, if you really like my channel, I'd ask that you tell other people about it. If you think they would like my channel, send them over, and because the more the merrier. So I would really appreciate that. Just a couple more things to talk about. One, I've already gotten a couple asks about this, and I'm sure you knew this was coming, because I kind of follow the philosophy of pretty much all the other people who do this kind of stuff on YouTube. I don't accept any old friend request on the Xbox 360 or PS3, because I like to have people on my friends list that I know. It doesn't mean that you can't get on my friends list. My friend Brandon, who you see in some of my recent Black Ops videos, he's on my friends list because we met up, we played together, we had a great time, and now we're great friends over, a long distance, but we're good friends now, and we game all the time. So that's how he got on my friends list. But, you know, if you just send me random invites or things like that, then I'm not going to be able to accept them, because I want to keep my friends list of people I know, which I think everybody can respect. And yes, just so you know, my Xbox Live gamer tag is Voodoo51292. My PS3, my PSN name is Crusader3219. If you're ever curious about that when you're watching my gameplay or something online on PS3 and you're like, I don't know where he is because there's no Voodoo51292 on here. I got the PS3 years ago, back before I had the name Voodoo51292, and so Crusader3219 was my name. And of course, as we know on PSN, you can't change it. And I have all of my trophies, all of my data on that name. I'm not going to make a new account and start from scratch just to have my name. It doesn't make any sense. So it's Crusader3219 on PSN, but Voodoo51292 on the Xbox Live. So that's the deal with the friend request. And the last thing is at this point now that I'm actually getting some decent views now on some videos, I'm to the point now where if you are leaving me hateful comments, if you're trolling me, if you're doing whatever, I'm just going to block. I'm not going to ask questions. I'm not going to really go to battle with back and forth. I kind of went into a little war with a couple people on the channel comments of the Voodoo Stars DSP video, but I'm not going to be doing that really in the future. I'm just going to be hitting the block button, because I'm just not going to put up with it. You know, it's, you know, like I said, now that I can read, at this point I can read every single channel comment I get, and every video comment and everything like that, and so I will read the comment, and if it's hateful or trolling, I'm going to block you. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't send me, like I said before, if you send me respectful comments, even if you don't like what I'm doing and you want me to change something, I'm not going to block you. I'm only going to block you if you're being stupid, disrespectful, rude, calling me names and such. Then I'll block. I'm not going to block you just because you don't agree with what I'm doing, or just because you don't, you know, like what I'm doing. If you send me the comment respectfully, saying, hey, you know, I'm enjoying the video, but, you know, I think, or even I'm not enjoying the video, and here's why. I think it would be better if you maybe did this, and I may not agree with you, but I may respond back and say, hey, you know, thanks for your input, it's just I like doing it this way, so I'm going to continue. Or I may say, hey, that's a good idea, if people would like that better, I'll change this or that or whatever. So as long as it's respectful, you're not going to get blocked, and I'm going to take it into consideration. But if it's stupid, if it's mean, hateful, you're just getting blocked. Okay? So that's basically it for a recap of my channel, what you can see now. Again, if you want to know what is on my channel at this point, if you go down here to the bottom left side of my page, if you're watching this on my main page, there's a complete alphabetical listing of all the gameplay playthroughs I've done, or that are up right now that you can see. There's also a alphabetical listing of game reviews that I've done, and also an alphabetical listing of, I'm just trying to check my time. Okay, an alphabetical listing of miscellaneous playlists that I've done. One more thing I do want to stress is that every single Monday I'm going to be making a channel update, which, yes, is like DSP's Week in Preview video, because I like that format. I think it's very informative to actually recap what you did the week before and talk about what your plans are for the week ahead. And so I do that every single Monday on the dot, sometimes different points in the day depending on how busy I am, but every Monday expect a channel update. That's where you're going to want to go to watch to see what's happening on the channel. That's how you stay current. Sometimes if things are happening, I do post bulletins in that recent activity box, so be sure to check that from time to time too, because I do post bulletins up there, which is way easier than making a video every time. But mainly to know what's happening with me, watch the channel update every Monday and you'll know basically what my plans are. And I have my own special playlist for channel updates too, and every time I upload one I add it to the playlist. So all my channel updates since day one are in order in their own playlist called, obviously, channel updates. So that's the last thing I want to mention. So now that that's out of the way, again, welcome to the new subscribers, and thank you to all the old subscribers who were there before this weekend with the whole DSP thing. I appreciate every one of you, and I hope you enjoy the channel a lot. So just a couple of more notes to do before we sign off, and it's actually about what's currently happening with the channel with Deus Ex. Again, It's not looking good. I'm going to finish it by next week, guys. Again, I'm trying as hard as I can, but the way school is, I'm just not having the time to play this really long game right now. And it's unfortunate that it's this long, and it's at this time of year when school is just kicking off and I'm really swamped, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'm going to play as much of it as I can before the release is next week. I guarantee you that. As much as I can play of it, I'm going to. If I don't finish it, then absolutely in December, I'm going to finish Deus Ex. If body count doesn't get played, it doesn't, because what I'm hearing right now is the game is pretty generic and nothing to write home about. So I'm going to play as much of Deus Ex as I possibly can play before the release is next week. If I don't finish it in time, I will be finishing it at the end of the year, because it's a game I'm starting to get into. I'm starting to like it a lot, and it's supposed to be, you know, game of the year contender from what everybody's saying. So if it's that good, I definitely want to finish it. I just don't know if I'm going to have it finished before next week's releases. Okay, so that's that. I think there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, one more thing, guys. I've actually already gotten a request from somebody who did a personalized channel background for me. Not for a specific game, just for the channel, because as you know, when I'm not doing a current game, I have just a voodoo background. It was actually just a tile image of an icon my girlfriend made for me, which is pretty cool. But if anybody wants to send me any personalized backgrounds, I know some people are good with video editing and can do like those introduction videos. You know, something cool with the name or something like that, an intro to any of my series, like the channel updates or Voodoo's Thoughts or game reviews or anything like that. If you want to make any personalized wallpapers for a specific game that I'm playing, absolutely, I would be honored that you guys would want to do that for me. If you do, send me a personal message just like this guy did. I forget his name, and I apologize. I'm going to be using his background a couple of times. And if you do send me anything like that, I'm going to absolutely give you full credit on the channel, and probably in my channel update for that week when I'm using the background or the intro video, whatever, I'm going to mention your name for sure and give you 100% credit, because I don't know anything really about video editing, or video editing and also graphical design. I don't know how to make an actual YouTube background page. That's why all I have is tiled images I get from Google Images, because I don't know how to make the YouTube thing. I'm just not very good with that or very knowledgeable. So if anybody wants to do anything like that, I'd absolutely be honored. Send me a message, and I will, if I use your stuff, I will absolutely give you credit and props, because I will be impressed, because I can't do any of that stuff. And I would also greatly be appreciative of you too, because that's really cool that anybody would want to do that for me. Okay, so very long midweek update, but it's a special occasion. I wanted to go over the channel with you guys again so that you know. One last note, I completely forgot after my channel update on Monday to post the link in the description to my bio video. Like I said I was going to do. Somebody reminded me and I was like, oh shit, I forgot. So if you're interested in the bio video, the link is now posted in the description of my channel update for this week. So go to my channel update for this week, click on the go in the description and click on the link, and you can watch the bio video. So thanks guys, very happy to have 100 subscribers. I hope to have more coming in the future. Thanks to all you guys. Hopefully you enjoy my channel, and I'll see you guys for the rest of this year for great gameplay.